everybody, welcome to the Friday show. I'm Luisi, Danny's here, and Alex is here, and this is the Friday show. Did I say that?
It's going to be a good episode.
It's not Friday right now.
I feel it's going to be a great episode.
It's Wednesday.
It's going to be a chill episode.
First topic. Is today Friday?
No,
it's not. It's Wednesday.
I'm just going to let you keep going. Go ahead.
It's tomorrow Friday? No, it's not. It's going to be Thursday.
This is shit.
Get over here.
This is shit.
Are you going to keep going?
I'm good.
All right, welcome everybody to the Thursday show. Luisi's decided to be a dick. I don't know why.
It's Friday show.
It's going to be a very chill Friday show. I feel it. So we do have Luisi, we have Alex. Sammy's not here because I guess he doesn't want to do the Friday show anymore. He doesn't want to do Can I Roll for Survival or the Friday show. So
he hates all of us.
This company's falling apart. So that's good.
That's fine.
It's not even a company. What money do you make?
You don't have to make money
exactly.
To be a company.
You can be a failing company. See?
Yeah.
You guys have anything you guys want to talk about? You guys have any news? Anything you want to share? How you guys feeling? You guys are tired? I've been tired too. I didn't even know we were supposed to do a show today. I thought it was for tomorrow.
Nah, man, it's today.
All right. We can have a show today. It might be a short one. But hey, we got to give them something, right?
Sure.
Jesus. You guys are not feeling it today.
Not at all.
I do have some topics. You want to get straight into some topics?
Okay.
So first topic is about our cousin Andrew. So he's probably listening. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? You can't respond. So he's not here. But he's going to listen to this on Friday, I'm sure. Me and Andrew started texting each other. Well, not even texting. It was Facebook comments. And it got pretty...
That's messing... Okay.
You saw that? I feel like I got...
Why didn't you tell me about it?
I don't know. Honestly, it wasn't
What
anything.
is it? What happened? I don't
Me
even know what happened.
and Andrew had a back and forth about, I think it was the news and perspectives, and I should open up my mind to different ideas, kind of a thing. I'm not remembering right, but I wanted to talk about it because, first of all, I feel like I won those arguments. I was right, and he was wrong. Okay, I'm sure he thought of it differently. But he did have one point that I said, okay, I'll try this out, which is I should listen to the other side and see what they have to say exactly, to see, I don't know, to get their point of view, right? Which I feel...
There's a thing that people say you should always, which people don't do, is you should argue against your opponent's best argument, not their worst argument.
That's very true.
So you shouldn't just hear something stupid and be like, this is exactly what the other side stands for. It's just an example of a bad thing that some people in the other side probably believe. Hey, what is this?
That's my phone. Keep going.
This shit.
Go.
No, not you. This is this woman I work with. That she only comes in one time a week because she works remote, like she works in a different place. But she comes into the main office one time a week. And for some reason, she has a fucking alarm for, like, every half hour.
That's me.
But no, she's worse than you. She just, like, every half hour, a fucking alarm goes off on her phone. I'm like, what are you trying to remind yourself of? Because it's literally every half hour. She doesn't do anything. Like,
what kind?
Like,
is it like one of those phone alarms? It's just a normal phone alarm?
Yeah, it's a phone alarm.
And it annoys you?
Yes.
Everything annoys him.
But do you know what it's for? Is it like for a pill or something? Does she get up and stretch every half hour?
She doesn't do it every time it happens. It looks like she forgot to turn it off. Like her reaction is always like, "Oh, I didn't know that was on." Like it's every time.
You know what it might be? It might be that it's her alarm to wake up, and she just keeps pressing the snooze button instead of the turn off button.
Maybe.
But
yeah, look, you should always argue against your opponent's best argument, not their worst, So hear exactly what they'll have to say, the best that they can say it, Don't reduce them to what you think their argument is.
Listen, the thing is, here was my point to Andrew. I understand what you're saying when you're having an argument, argue about argue against their best argument. Problem is, I'm not talking about arguments. I'm talking about having an opinion. See, Andrew, it's the point of view is like being open-minded to all points of view, right? To see, you know, but the problem is you can't be in the middle your entire life. At one point, you have to pick who's right and who's wrong. There is some.
No,
you can't be just like, so Republicans believe in just letting people die in the street, and Democrats want them to have health care. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who knows? I'm gonna stay in the middle.
On the specific topic of healthcare, I side with the Democrats because I'm not talking about you personally. But on other topics,
granted, that's probably a biased way of saying that.
No, anybody because. Danny, no, because you're saying like you have to pick a side at some point. No, you don't, because each side has many different points that they argue, and you can be in the middle because you say like, well, I agree with the Democrats on this side, and I agree with the Republicans on this issue. No, so that would mean you're in the middle.
The thing is, somebody's right and somebody's wrong. Something works and something doesn't work. All right, fiscally something works and something.
No, well, this is okay. This is philosophically. You're being objective, like saying there are objective truths, because you're saying...
Because there are.
You know, as a fact, this works or this doesn't, because that's not true.
It's very much true.
Because everything's relative. Some things work for some people, some things don't work for other people.
What? No, for the country, there are things that work and things that don't work. Things that are better for the...
The country's made up of people. So any single thing that you can put into action, some people will benefit and some people won't. Anything at all.
This isn't even the point.
So, no, but I'm saying like any single law you put, anything you put into practice will benefit some people and will be a detriment to other people, no matter what it is.
Well,
so that's why.
Are we getting to an actual point here?
Yes, because that's why everything is like. What's it called? Like a balancing act. It's like, what's the word? It's a compromise. Because no matter what, some people are going to be unhappy.
Listen, stop having a philosophical argument with me, Luisi. I'm talking about politics.
Hey, you can only, this is the thing. When you talk about politics, like, people think politics are like, I'm right and you're wrong. No.
It is, though. So, there are things that work and things that don't work. Things that are good for people.
For you.
For the entire nation.
The entire nation's made up of individuals.
Oh my God. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
All I'm trying to say is that you can't just say something works and something doesn't. Because there's multiple things that work and multiple things that don't. And it's like, you can have a thing on, like free healthcare. I want free healthcare. I don't know how it would work. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm just saying I don't know how it would be implemented, and I don't care for your explanation on how it would. I do
have an explanation.
Because I just don't. I know, but I don't care.
Well, then how can I have a conversation about this if you...
No, because this is not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing. Look, it's just...
This came out.
What?
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But look, all I'm saying is that what I'm trying to argue is like, okay, look, free healthcare as an example. I don't know how it would be implemented, but I know there is a way that it can be implemented because other countries have it implemented.
Every other developed country in the world.
But there's downsides to it. Like, there has to be. I don't even know what they are, but I know there are. Because there has to be. That's how things work. Higher taxes, waiting room times is probably a little more, whatever. Things like that.
Which is an exaggerated argument.
Danny, isn't, but it's valid because it's probably true to a certain extent, right?
Well, it depends. It depends.
So you see how? Wait, I'm not even arguing that, Danny. I'm not even arguing that. Okay, I'm saying that it has to. There are some downsides, no matter how small you think they are. There are some. Wait, just listen to me. There are some downsides, and to some people, those downsides are worse than the benefits.
Okay, but the thing is,
even if it's a minority of people that you don't care about, they care about their own lives.
So okay, look, I'm gonna agree with you. There are people, probably millionaires and billionaires, who paying their own healthcare is better than paying higher taxes because they will be.
Or maybe some middle class people, upper middle class people who can afford their healthcare. They like their healthcare, and if everything became single payer, they'd probably have worse healthcare, and they don't want that.
Yeah, but the problem is the overwhelming majority of the American people are not upper middle class.
I know, but what I'm saying, and I agree with Danny, I want free healthcare. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying that any single topic that you bring up is not like this works and this doesn't. There are people that it doesn't work for.
Yeah, but they're the minority. So why is the...
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's for the majority of people, free healthcare would be better, but there are people that it wouldn't be better for.
But listen, the thing is, Luisi, I understand
and those people
that's a philosophical question that I agree with you. That for some people it's not going to work. The problem is politically we have a democracy, and so democratically majority rules. So what's best for the majority is what should happen. Understand?
No, I know, and that's how politics works. I'm saying that you said like some shit works and some shit doesn't. Well, everything's relative.
From a political standpoint, Luisi. Not from a philosophical
that's
question.
Why I don't like politics.
I don't care about the allegory of the cave.
Did you listen to that? What'd you think?
I think it was an argument about philosophy. It was the description of philosophy about a cave.
Give me your synopsis.
I think was it Socrates who said it or Plato?
I think it was
Plato.
Plato
Is really stuck up. Like the guy is.
Okay, give me your synopsis of what. Give me like a plot summary of this allegory.
I had a whole different conversation, Luisi.
I just looked.
Okay,
just give me
so
that.
Luisi told me to read to learn about the allegory of the cave. So I did, and this is what I found out. The allegory of the cave is a story or an allegory, I guess, that Plato spoke about. Was it Plato? You said Plato, right?
Yeah,
Plato said that life is like men being chained in the cave, looking away from the light, and the only thing they could ever see their entire life is the shadows of the outside world. So imagine people being born in chains, looking at the wall of a cave and seeing shadows their entire life, and that's the only thing they ever saw. One day, one of the people is freed from the chains and is able to walk outside of the cave. And so he sees reality as it is. You know, he sees the grass, he sees trees, rivers, people, actual people. He speaks with the people. He communicates with them. He sees things in basically three-dimensional things. He sees colors, smells, things that he's never seen before, right? And so he's enlightened. He sees amazing things. He goes back to the cave and tries to explain to the people chained up who's never seen these things what he saw. And they think he's gone mad. And so when he tries to free the other people chained to the cave, they attack him and beat him. I don't know how, because they're chained to a wall. Plato didn't think about that part. And so he says, so that man is basically a philosopher. That's how they explained it to me. So Plato was really sucking his own dick. He thought he was the shit.
I don't know about that last part. I mean, that's probably in there because philosophers love to suck their own dick. That's what philosophy means.
Sucking your own dick?
But like, yeah. I mean, it's just masturbating as a living. But what I'm saying is like,
profession ever.
you can see like, when was Plato around? Like in the BCs? I don't know. Like 500 BC or something like that. But what really did he know?
All he did was ask questions that everybody else asked. But what I'm saying is
like that is saying that life's a simulation. That's what that's
he's saying.
No, it is exactly what he's saying because he's
that's not what he said. He was saying that as a philosopher, he was more enlightened than other people, and him trying to share his enlightenment made people resent him.
No, but what it's saying is that like, well, yeah, look, you're right. Because I guess Plato was a bitch. But, like, the shit that he was talking about doesn't mean... Just because he's a bitch doesn't mean the shit he was talking about was wrong. Because, like, you know... You can see, like... We're seeing life through one perspective. We're looking at the shadows in the cave, right?
Uh-huh.
And, you know, you can get free of that and see shit from other perspectives. You can see it, you know, whatever. You can be enlightened. And that's just seeing shit in a different perspective. You're breaking the simulation. You know, you're Kanye West in the fourth dimension.
Kanye West isn't right though. He's not sharing. Okay, whatever.
And that's what happens. You're looking at the cave. You're looking at the shadows in the cave, and to the person enlightened, you think they're crazy.
That's a bad metaphor, but all right.
But I'm saying, like, the Allegory's cave is one of the only things I remember from my philosophy class, which I failed. So, because I think it's, like, one of the basics of philosophy is saying that, like, there's something beyond what you're living.
Is it saying that there's something more that you have to learn, and it's the philosopher's job to find it, but people aren't going to be happy with him that he found it out?
People don't care. It's not even like, yeah, it's like, you know, people are happy to live their lives, which is fine. You know, most people are happy to live their lives the way they see it, because why wouldn't they? You know? No, most people don't care about different perspectives and being enlightened and shit like that, because it doesn't matter to them, and that's fine. Everybody can have their interests. But to some people, they want to do the enlightenment shit. They want to learn about philosophy. They want to do all that stuff.
The worst people are philosophers. I mean, just... When I saw that, I just think it's like Plato was a narcissist. Because he was him. He was talking about himself. He was the guy who saw outside because he thought about things. Nobody else thinks about things. I mean, God. It's just like, it's when you're in kindergarten and somebody says, like, do you think the same blue I see is the blue you see? Go suck a dick, man. I got homework, okay? I'm trying not to fail out of kindergarten. You're talking about blues and shit.
You don't know.
Who cares? Who really cares?
The blue could be different.
The blue is the same. It's probably the same.
You don't know.
I mean, you don't know because
honestly, it wouldn't matter.
It's a very individualistic society, I guess. But I mean, that's not even the point. I mean, the Allegory of the Cave, I didn't get much from it. Maybe I have to go back into it and see what I get from it. It's a story about philosophy. Is that all it is, Luisi?
It is.
It's the explanation of what is philosophy.
What, the Allegory of the Cave? It's not saying, like, what is philosophy.
I think that's what they said.
But it's just... I mean, maybe. I don't know. You probably watched a YouTube video of people who know more about it than I do.
That's exactly what I did.
But what I get from it is the fact that...
That's a little cartoon about it.
There's... I'm just saying, what I got from that is basically there's, like, stuff beyond where we are. Because we are
like
living...
spiritual stuff?
With our perception...
Like Jesus?
Spiritual, whatever, anything. You know, Jesus could be a thing, whatever.
Okay,
whatever. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it God, you can call it Jesus, you can call it whatever you want, but there's something else. And it's not... I'm not even talking about spiritually. I'm just saying perception-wise. We're perceiving things by looking at the shadows in the cave. There's different ways of looking at it. And you can call it, quote-unquote, getting enlightened, getting free, whatever, but you can just say looking at things differently.
I think in
it's
reality,
not better or worse. It's just a different way to look at shit.
That's a very vague allegory of the allegory of the cave. Because that could really mean a million different things. It could be an allegory about, God. About spirituality.
Yeah, but that's the point of philosophy. You can take it whatever you want. This is what I'm saying. I got from it.
Listen, I'm not a philosopher, so I'm not interested in philosophy. But it just sounds to me philosophy is a bunch of people making up hypotheticals and seeing what they can get out of that hypothetical they make up. Is that basically it?
Well, people are just they're just asking questions about shit and discussing it.
Oh, God, you're such a narcissist. I'm just asking questions. Just let me ask my questions. It's a thought experiment. Go suck a dick, man. I gotta go to work in the morning. Seriously.
So go to work.
I'm just saying.
What's the issue? What's the difference?
I don't got time for philosophy, man.
They're not getting in your face and saying you have to be a philosopher.
You're right, but it's just not beneficial for me. It doesn't take up my time. It should, it's not beneficial.
Danny, you don't have to be a philosopher if you don't want to.
Maybe.
I'm saying it's interesting to learn about.
Okay,
this is what I'm saying. This is why I like the liberal arts. I like philosophy. I like literature because the point is like I think what a lot of people get fucked up with in like English class when they're in high school, middle school, and shit is that a lot of teachers will like make you read a thing, and then they will say this is the point of that thing.
Yeah.
They'll make you read a poem, and then be like, "This is what that poem means."
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then that ingrained in them that it's like, okay, when I read a poem, there's an answer. No, there's not one answer. You get whatever you get from it.
Our minds just work different. There's an answer.
No, there's not. You get whatever you get from it.
Whatever the writer wanted you to think is what
you read it, and whatever you... No, that's not how it works. Because you can't tell somebody what they experience is wrong.
The creator of of whatever it is, of the art is the one who created it.
You know who Lou Reed is?
Yeah, he's the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
A band, for anybody who doesn't know.
Velvet Underground is like experimental alternative rock band from the 60s. And Lou Reed, I saw him on a documentary once, the documentary series Classic Albums from VH1. It was one of my favorite shits.
He recently died, right? A couple years ago?
Lou Reed died I think 5 years ago or something at this point. It was when Jon Stewart was still on, because I remember he commemorated him on The Daily Show. But so Lou Reed said once in a documentary, they asked him what a song, like he was talking about one of his songs on his album Transformer. I think it was like Satellite of Love or some shit like that. But he say like people would ask him like what he means by songs, but because like he was always revered for his songwriting, like his lyrics. But so they'd say like, what does the song mean? And he'd like give his little explanation of what he means with the song, like what he's trying to say. But then he's like, but that's just what I think, because I only wrote the song. But this is what I get from it. But other people get other. Yeah, so he wrote the song with an intention of saying something.
Yes.
Right? And he hopes that whatever he was trying to say gets there to people. But somebody might take it differently, and they're not wrong because that's what they got from it.
Oh man, this is still over my head. Listen, I'm too close-minded to philosophy. I'm gonna try and open myself up to philosophy more, because I think it's probably gonna help me in some way. I guess I don't know.
Because this was because this is art and philosophy and shit. There's no right or wrong answer.
I understand. I understand if an artist makes something and says it's open to interpretation, fine. But if somebody says this is what this means, I mean he's the one who made it.
That's what it means to them.
But it might mean something else to somebody else.
They made it. This is the thing. They made it with the intention of conveying some kind of emotion that they wanted people to feel, some kind of message, whatever. But they could have done it bad, They could have made a bad artwork that doesn't convey what they were trying to say, but maybe it means something to somebody else.
God. I don't want to have this conversation right now.
So, Jackson Pollock?
Yes, I know Jackson Pollock. Overrated.
He makes that bullshit whatever, where he just sprays paint on the wall.
He has no idea what he's making.
And all that shit. I doubt that. I think he knows what he's trying to do.
You think he has a purpose with his...
Yeah, really? Definitely. Yeah. It's abstract art.
For the people, Jackson Pollock is the guy who throws random crap at a painting.
So a better example. I don't really give a shit about Jackson Pollock, but Mark Rothko is a better example. You know who Mark Rothko is? He's the guy who makes squares. Oh yeah, I know that. He makes like big blurry squares. There's like the whole canvas is just like the top half is one color and the bottom half is another color.
Just squares.
I love his paintings. I think they're amazing. But like, he can say whatever he wants. He's saying that like, oh, I was thinking about this when I made it. This is what I was trying to get across. It's two colors on a canvas. Whoever looks at it is gonna get whatever they want from it. It's abstract.
I don't know. I think that's.
Because you can't tell if somebody sees a painting and says, like, this makes me feel sad. And then Mark Rothko comes up and says, like, well, that's supposed to make you feel happy. They're both right and they're both wrong. It doesn't matter. They both got what they got.
There's a very big difference between people who like art and people who like movies or books. Because with movies and books, it's storytelling. You have a straightforward story. And sure, there could be symbolism in the storyline, but there's a A, there's a B. Something happens throughout the entire way. A painting, it doesn't really tell a story. It has one frame, one picture. So that can mean a lot of things. So I'm more of a movie guy. I want a story. You got to tell me the story.
Yeah. I'm more of a story person too.
You know?
But I am too, but like I'm more of a story person. But like, you know, even in stories are art. They're an art form, and there's art shit in there that you could take from different things, you know? Like if you watch what's the name of a movie? Just any movie. Okay, There Will Be Blood, okay?
What that's your go-to for anything, is it?
There Will Be Blood. Because I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Or do you want to do Punch Drunk Love?
Do Punch Drunk Love, because we talked about it before.
Okay, so Punch Drunk Love, what would you say is like a core message that you got from that movie?
A core message?
Just like something that you got from it. What do you think it was trying to convey?
I think it was trying to say that there's a lot of different people in this world that we don't understand, who feel things that other people don't understand, but the universal connection between everybody's love.
Okay.
I mean, I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's a message, but I got a lot of themes of like this guy. It was kind of like a character study to me of just that guy.
But do you believe the movie had a statement it was trying to make?
I don't like saying things.
Oh my god! What am I doing with you, Luisi? You are the most. You should be a philosopher. You should write books and suck your own dick all day.
I try to
write books and suck your own dick.
Just either one. But listen. Cause like so you're saying that's what you got from the movie. I would agree with you. I think
don't agree with me?
I think that's something that it was trying to say. No, I would agree with you. But like that's like seems
Did
like
Alex
a thing.
Leave?
She's just doing something else. But like so I would agree with you that that's like something the movie was trying, that Paul Thomas Anderson was probably trying to say with the movie. But, you know, he could disagree with you. What if he came up to you and said, like, no, I wasn't trying to say that?
I would ask him what he was trying to say.
And what if he told you, I was just trying to make a Adam Sandler movie? Like an Adam Sandler comedy.
But I would say, one, you failed because that is not an Adam Sandler movie. And two, I mean, I would probably be sad. Like, so this is garbage. This is just
why would
garbage.
You be sad? You're not wrong.
You were just trying to make money? What?
There's a Beatles song called Martha My Dear. Paul McCartney wrote it. It's on the White Album. So it's like a love song. It's like a beautiful love song and shit. Whatever. But then like years later, he said like he wrote that about his dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then it's about his dog.
But it's like a love song. People probably got married to it and shit and stuff like that. But it's like, well, no, I just wrote it about my dog. Are those people who thought like, who listened to the song and thought about their significant other and stuff and loved them and shit were wrong? Were they wrong?
I mean, what is wrong in philosophy? That's the thing. In art, what is wrong?
To me, nothing. You could believe whatever you want.
Previously, I wasn't talking about philosophy. I was talking about politics, and that there is a right and a wrong, I think. But getting to that point, interesting note about the Beatles and what you're saying. I think there's this one song, Her Majesty. That's the White Album?
The
Abbey Road. So anybody who hasn't listened to the Beatles, listen to Her Majesty, because for me, what I got from that is I was picturing the end of somebody's life or the end of a story.
Her Majesty.
You know, like that was the dun dun
nice girl, but
you know what I mean?
A lot to say. That's
Luisi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Luisi, did you cut? Ah, God, this is a great podcast. Hello.
Hello.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. So it says Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. That's the lyric in the song. Did you
get what I got from that story?
Yeah,
from that song.
It's like an ending. Say it again.
Yeah. What I got from it, what I felt at least, it was the ending of something. It was something's over. So in an upbeat way. So it was like the ending of funny enough, the end of what's it called? Punch Drunk Love. Yeah. It's a happy ending. Something good happened, and it's over. And maybe there's something new that's gonna come up, but this story's done. So the letter of the words have nothing to do with that, but that's what I felt. So this is the thing. So this one's over, But maybe something better is gonna come
Her
later.
Majesty.
But this was pretty good
Her Majesty
too.
is a perfect example of this. Okay, because Her Majesty is 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
At the end of Abbey Road. Do you know what the song right before that is?
No, I don't remember.
It's called The End.
Oh.
Okay, the Abbey Road is the last Beatles album, and they knew it was the last one. They made it with the intent of breaking up right after. So,
Yeah.
the second to last song on the album is called The End, and the last lyrics of that song are and.
So I was right. Look
No,
at that.
but
I was
listen to
right.
me. So the last lyrics in the song "The End" are, "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make," and that's the last thing. They intended for that to be the last thing they've ever said as the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
Her Majesty went on the album by accident.
Really?
Yeah,
So it
the
doesn't mean
engineer
anything.
on the album tacked it on at the end because. That's just a throwaway 30 seconds that like Paul McCartney wrote. He's just like, this is an idea for a song, and he never finished it. And then the engineer just saw that, and he's like, oh, let me throw this at the end because he didn't want to waste it.
Maybe the engineer felt something.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. The engineer got something from it. Paul McCartney, the person who wrote the song, didn't think it was good enough to even finish. But the engineer felt something from it and put it on the album.
I think it's actually the best song in the album.
So are you wrong?
Maybe. I mean, if Paul McCartney didn't even like it, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, that's how I go. That's how I ask all my questions. Does Paul McCartney like this?
I don't know. Have you seen Paul McCartney recently? He looks like a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how so?
He
Like,
went on
just,
like a
long hair and
promotional.
everything?
He went on like a promotional tour because I guess he has a new album out, and like he's
Yeah.
on YouTube and shit talking about the Beatles, and he looks like an 80-year-old woman. Like he looks.
Well, he does have
terrible.
very feminine features. He has feminine features.
But he looks like a bad 80-year-old woman. Like he looks. Like,
He doesn't have like a strong chin or like high cheekbones or
Yeah.
anything or low cheekbones. I don't know. He doesn't have manly
high
cheekbones.
cheeks.
What are the manly
I don't
manly
know.
cheekbones? I don't know.
But okay,
So
so what do you think of what I've been saying?
I mean, I'm kind of sad that they didn't even like Her Majesty because I really love that 30 seconds.
So you
I
love
mean-
it. There's a lot of shit. Like this.
What did you get from Her Majesty?
I thought it was just a song that they didn't finish. I love it. I love that song.
But you don't try to get something from it. You're the philosopher here.
So the lyrics, I think about the lyrics in that song. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. You know, Her Majesty's a
Yeah.
pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. I want to say I love her a lot, but I got a belly full of wine. Her Majesty's a
good.
pretty nice girl, and someday I'm gonna make her mine. That's the whole song.
That's a great song.
So I just pictured the story. He's talking about a girl who.
But what did you feel?
I felt like that, a guy trying to get a girl, kind of, and he doesn't know much about her. He doesn't have a lot to say, and he's drunk, and he's just like, I like this girl, I'm trying to get her.
I feel like the more we talk about this, the more of a philosopher I get into being. like I started out just like, this is all garbage, and it's like, what did you actually feel about it? This
This is what I'm saying, because everything I've ever heard you say about philosophy, I just think you have the wrong idea about it. I don't think you'd hate it if you actually knew what it was about.
I'm willing to admit that I'm closed-minded about philosophy because, I just don't know that much about it and never was really into it. I really love sociology. Sociology is an extremely interesting field to get into, because it deals with people and, trends and, life and actual life, not asking questions like, what is this? What actually happens? What do people tend to do in certain groups, And philosophy is like, well, what if that person was on a train and he was going to kill somebody? It's like, okay, fine. What if? How about what's actually happening?
But also,
You know what I mean?
well, yeah, I don't like what's actually happening most of the time, so I don't really care about it. But like,
I'm
you know
the
what I'm
opposite.
saying? Like, I'm speaking a really relative point from a very relativistic point of view. But like, that's not what philosophy is. Like, there are philosophers that think there are objective truths that aren't wrong. That like there are certain things that are just true, and you can't say are relative. So
I mean, there are objective truths.
Sure, maybe, but like
I mean, it's I think therefore I am. The
would say-
objective truth is that we are. There's one right there.
I would say that's the only one, but
I mean, but if there's one, there's probably others.
no, that was the whole point of that. Of I think therefore I am. That's what Descartes meant, is that the only thing that is true is that you exist.
So there is an objective truth.
Yeah, the one.
So relativism is wrong.
On that one.
On that one. That ruins the whole thing, though. That's the thing. All of it's gone. You can throw relativism out the window.
And I don't know too much about philosophy, but knowing philosophy, there's probably like a million other philosophers who will say.
What are you talking about, Lucy? You failed an entire semester of it. You got it down. You know as much as any other philosopher.
You know what? I was really proud of myself. Like, in that class specifically, I had like a 3-page paper I had to write, and I wrote the entire thing the morning that it was due.
And you got an A.
I did, and then I failed the class. But
because philosophy is garbage. You can really write whatever you want.
Sure.
In philosophy. What does this mean? It means whatever it needs to mean. A. That's
yeah.
Philosophy is a garbage thing to learn. Like, I actually respect Socrates and Plato and all them, because they didn't have a class. They were just thinking about stuff. If you take a class to learn philosophy, you ruin the whole point of philosophy.
Well, the whole point is not learning, really. It's discussion.
Exactly. So don't learn it.
No, I mean, like, when you're learning philosophy, you're really just learning what other people's ideas of philosophy are. Like, you know.
You're learning history.
Yeah, history of...
You're learning other people's arguments.
Philosophy class is really the history of philosophy. At least, like, a beginner. Yeah. When you take, like, intro to philosophy or something, that's basically just the history of philosophy.
You can't learn how to be a philosopher, because that ruins the whole point. Like, why would you learn to think the way somebody else thought?
Danny, you're not taking philosophy classes to become a philosopher. Like, being a philosopher isn't a profession. Like, that's not a thing.
People write books about philosophy.
Yeah, you're an author. You're a writer. If you're writing books about philosophy, you're a philosopher. Are you?
I mean, what is a philosopher then?
Exactly.
Are we going to get into that, really? Are we really going to do that?
That would be a philosophical question. But what I'm saying, like...
God. I can't. I'm getting back out of it. I can't deal with this.
But when you get into upper levels of, like, philosophy classes and even literature classes, because that's what I did. I did literature. Like, you're just discussing things you've read. The whole point is reading a book and then talking about it with the class. And that's all.
Well, for that, I was just being a philosophy class. I mean, I was just being a history class.
Well, yeah.
Just take history.
This is the thing,
more
like,
interesting.
I don't like history very much. I'm okay with it, but I don't love it. But, like, I love philosophy and I love literature because, like, you know, what was I saying? I don't know. But I'm saying, like, college I don't even think should be for, like, things like engineering and science, not science, but engineering, being a doctor and shit like that. You should go to trade school for those kinds of things. College, I think, should be for only liberal arts things.
Well, I mean, you can have a college that's specifically for trades, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, college covers anything that's higher learning. It doesn't just... There can be colleges that are specifically for liberal arts, but there could be colleges for other things.
Well, there are liberal arts colleges, and I'm sure there's like science colleges or whatever.
That's why I don't like a lot of conservatives like to shit on colleges. It's like, because it's like, oh, you're gonna just take a bunch of classes you don't need that don't help in the real world. There's a lot of people who, you know, go to college to learn important things, engineering, doctors, business classes. I mean.
All that shit like is stuff stupid. That I never care about.
The right likes to be stupid. They don't like to learn anything.
Danny, you just went on like a whole thing about how you hate philosophy and learning things.
Philosophy specifically, I mean, but there are other things
Would you take a literature class?
Oh, definitely. That sounds like fun. If I had any interest in it.
The whole point is reading a book and then discussing with a bunch of people who have different opinions about the book.
Well, that's good because you're talking about the book, but it's like, what is life?
Well, Danny, when you take a philosophy class, you'll read a philosophical essay or a philosophy book or whatever, and then discuss it with the class.
I don't know. I had a point. Can I get to my point?
Okay.
From half an hour ago?
Sure.
So, this is the worst segue. We have to do a 180. Philosophy class is over, guys. All right. I was talking to
Andrew.
Yeah, but I gotta talk about Andrew for a second.
What?
Jesus. I was speaking with Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Jesus. And we were talking about politics, and that is like, what was it? I made the argument that somebody's right and somebody's wrong, and then you got into that whole thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was trying to make the point that it's like, hey, you should be more open-minded. You should hear other people's opinion, if not just to, open your mind and, like, be more receptive to people. And I was right overall. He's gonna think he was right, whatever. But he did have a good point.
What I think. Why should anybody be right?
Lucy, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay.
All right. So I took that as like, all right, fine. I should listen to the other side. I should hear out their arguments, right?
Okay.
And so I did. So because of Andrew, I decided, okay, I'm gonna open my mind a little bit. I'm gonna hear these people out. So I opened a new Gmail account and opened a new YouTube. And I started watching right-wing bullshit, right?
That's a good idea, because sometimes I want to watch, like, right-wing shit, but I'm like, I don't want that on my fucking timeline.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want that on my feed.
That's exactly why, because I listened to Ben Shapiro, and I never want to see Ben Shapiro's face on any of my YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
the guy Steven Crowder?
Oh, God. I can't even watch him. He's the biggest load of shit ever.
I don't agree with like 99% of the shit he says, but he had a
Do you
segment.
agree with anything he says?
I can't remember enough. I just remember that I listened to some of his shit, and like the interesting things that he did is that he had a segment where it's like called like, what's it called? Just like Convince Me, I think, where he just like,
yeah.
Did you see
the biggest load of shit ever?
His arguments probably, yeah, but like
his arguments and the whole idea. Because he sits down and argues with people, and he probably edits out the people who make good sense, and he puts a bunch of people who make bullshit arguments, and he makes bullshit arguments. But because he actually took the time to do that, he's the open-minded one. No, you're an idiot. You're a jackass. All right.
Well, I'll agree with you that he probably just picks the ones where he won the debate, basically. But I'll give him credit that he doesn't edit them. Because, like, he basically, you just see him sit through, like, you see the person sit down, the whole thing's not edited, it's like an hour long, and you just see him talk to the person, and then they leave. He probably picked the one where he sounds the least stupid, but he did. Also,
You're gonna sit in the middle of the street and pick a fight with random people who don't know the specific argument. How about you argue with actual people who are educated in the specific topic?
I just think it's an interesting thing to do.
It's not. It's him being a dick because he wants to make a liberal seem that like they're not smart, like they're right, while being in the middle of the street.
Well, he usually that's not the ones I saw were like him in a college campus, but
that's the same thing. He's in the middle of the college campus. I mean, they're just random people.
Yeah,
college people are random people.
I know,
but that's not even my point. So I watched some Ben Shapiro shit, right?
Yeah,
and I listened to different arguments, different things they were saying, and at the end of the day, I just thought, God, first of all, they're all liars, and second of all,
what are they
God, they're about? They're so wrong. Like the right is just their ideas are bad. They're not good ideas.
You shouldn't listen to
I saw this one where it was back in the day when Obama was still the president. And it was the whole immigration topic was coming about, and he said it's like no, because this president is too soft on immigration and on the border. He's bad for the border and for immigration. That's just factually wrong. Obama deported more undocumented immigrants than any other president in the entire history of this country. So you're a liar, Ben Shapiro. You're a piece of shit liar. He also added to border security, so you're twice the liar. You're a piece of shit. And then there was this other argument that was nowadays. It wasn't Ben Shapiro. It was one of Ben Shapiro's lackeys, I guess, who said it's like the left is now resorted to mob rule because they're protesting. Protesting is mob rule.
Shit to me when
they're
conservatives
pussies,
say like,
man.
"Oh, you shouldn't protest." Like what?
No.
But-
They're such disgusting
Danny,
little
look, you're
pussies.
listening to the wrong ones.
These
I think.
people are protesting. And they just shit themselves out of fear. Oh, it's mob rule. You should be afraid. They're mobs. You're such pussies. Oh god, you're a coward, man. They want you to be scared of the left. The left are hippies. I hate the left, which I'm a part of because they're just weak. They don't do anything. They should really throw rocks at Nazis. I should be an Antifa.
Danny.
I hate the left. I hate the
Danny,
right.
you know what you should do? Listen to Jordan Peterson.
I was gonna get to that point later on.
Do it
I
now.
I listened to some Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
right? And I listened to him, and I actually probably respect Jordan Peterson more. I didn't listen to that much of him because it was just boring. He's a very boring person. He is not
What did you listen
interesting
to?
at all.
Like an interview with him, or
Yeah, with Joe Rogan.
yeah.
God, he's so boring. But from what I got from him, he's just a philosopher. He's not really into politics. So I was wrong about Jordan Peterson, people. He's not really okay, he's going to make philosophical arguments. Good for him. That's fine. If I listen to more of his philosophical arguments, I'm sure I can get into a spirited debate. But he's probably a normal, genuine person, whatever. Oh, he's Christian too. So
Yeah, he's very
we have that in common.
But you know what you should listen to? There was a debate with him, Michael Eric Dyson, Stephen Fry, and some woman. They were talking about what were they talking about? I think freedom of speech or something. Some shit like that.
I hate that argument too about freedom of speech. They're so worried about freedom of speech, but the second the left practices his speech, they call him a mob. You're an idiot. See, this is why I hate the right. Also, the whole freedom of speech argument, these people, they get protested on a college campus, a well-known liberal college campus, Berkeley, and they piss themselves. They get so scared. It's like, oh, my freedom of speech. You're an idiot. You know? They love to fight straw man people.
Okay, Danny. I don't give a shit.
But I gave them a chance, right? I'm open-minded.
Yeah.
I listened to them.
Maybe this is the thing, because
but you know,
I don't
go ahead.
I don't care about politics at all. I think that's my problem. Because I won't listen to really Ben Shapiro or shit like that. Because
I need Andrew back on the show.
I'm not interested in politics, but I'm interested in their ideas. Because I don't agree with having a border wall, right? I don't agree with that. But I want to know why somebody would sincerely want that. I want to know their ideas that got them to that.
I don't agree with the border wall mainly because it doesn't work. I mean, it just won't work. It's
I get that it don't work. I get that it won't work. But why are they so scared that they want one?
Because they're scared. The right, the extreme right is just scared of everybody. They're scared of immigrants. They're scared of Muslims. They're scared of black people. They're scared of gay people. They're scared of feminists. They're scared that their manhood is being taken away. Which, it's just, you're so sad. Why would you be afraid of your manhood being taken away? I consider myself a man. I'm pretty manly.
Well, you should stop doing that.
Not once in my entire life have I been afraid of feminists taking away my manhood. That's never been an issue for me. I've never once opened the door for a woman and the woman be mad. That's never happened to me. What planet do you live on?
Well, Danny, it's people getting angry at shit that's not real.
Exactly, because they're pussies.
But you get angry at shit that's not real all the time.
Yeah, you're probably right. But okay, I do want to talk about something I did agree with Ben Shapiro on. Or at least I didn't agree with him, but I thought it was an interesting thing that could work or it could be interesting. Mm-hmm. Which was, I don't know if he actually believes this. I don't know if Ben Shapiro believes anything. I really believe he's a fake. He's a false
Is Ben
player.
Shapiro the 12-year-old?
He's a 12-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah. I really think he's not an honest actor. He gets paid for his opinions. But I could be wrong. That's speculation. But he did have this one idea that I thought could be interesting, which is the same argument Andrew made, which is the federal government should be less involved to give more power to the state and local governments, right?
Yeah, that's a standard conservative idea.
That could be a good idea. Let's say hypothetically, the federal government said tomorrow, it's like, okay, we're gonna lower the taxes to somewhere between 5 and 10%. We're gonna have a military. We're gonna have the United States Congress and the president, and then every single other thing, every single state's gonna have to figure it out, right? And so that way, different states can have different level of taxes, and they can handle their own education system. They can handle their own welfare system. Every single state will be different, right? And that could be interesting, right? That could be an issue because what I feel, the winners of the day will be the more progressive states, because that's what's happening right now. Nobody wants to live in Mississippi or in Alabama. Everybody moves to New York and California. Why? There's more opportunity.
Well, there's not.
Because there are more progressive places.
In this case, it's not winning or losing. It's just that the.
Lucy, no, please.
No,
please.
because this is the thing. Like,
can we talk about politics?
No, because even politically, it's not winning or losing. Because it's just in this system, it's just like the people who want to live in progressive places will move to California, New York, whatever cities, and you can say it's the majority of people. It might be the majority of people, whatever. But the thing is that those people will move to the places they would like to live in. Then the people who want to live in conservative places will move to like Utah and Wyoming and shit like that, and then everybody will be happy.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Lucy. What states have the highest incomes?
Danny, I know it's the progressive ones, California, New York.
What states have the highest standard of living? Which states have the highest standard of living?
I know the point.
Which states have better healthcare systems?
Danny,
Which states have lower teen pregnancy and lower STD rates?
Danny.
Is it
Danny.
I'm just saying.
Danny. This isn't like, look, because those are the metrics that you're measuring what would make a place that I would like to live in. You know? That you would like to live in. That's what your metric for what you would like to live in is like, does it have good
quality of life? Yeah,
but like, does it have like
live in a state with a better quality?
But like, there could be other people. It's like, oh, does it have family values or something? They don't want to walk down the street and see a bunch of like gay people in thongs and shit because of a gay pride parade and shit. And like, whatever, I don't agree with them, but isn't it also their right to want to live in a place where they don't have to see that? I don't want them to make the entire country like that, but if they want to live in Wyoming and not see any gay people everywhere. Like, isn't that their right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're probably right. Okay, so I think if that was to happen, first of all, we would just be 50 different countries at that point. Why even have a federal government? Just be 50 different countries. Yeah. So I don't get that point. It's like, at that point, let's not even have one nation. There's no point at that point. Just let's be all independent. Okay, let's see what happens after that. So that I don't like that argument because of that. But second point is, I really believe from the bottom of my heart that Mississippi, Alabama, Iowa, all the red states are going to turn into freaking Somalia. Well, there's going to be no government.
For the poor
There's going to be a bunch of guns. I mean, and so they're all going to run away to the progressive states. And then we're going to be proven right. And they're still going to hold their stupid ideas.
You know what the problem with those states are? Like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, that kind of shit? Is that those places are really kind of like India in the fact that, like, the rich people there are really rich and the poor people there are really poor. And, like, the poor people in Louisiana, like, I don't know how they're alive. Like, their state doesn't care about them. They got flooded in that place. Like, the 9th Ward in New Orleans is still demolished from Katrina, and nobody gives a shit.
To this day?
Yeah.
You were there.
I was there. I didn't go there, but, like, that's what everybody says. It's like, it's still demolished.
Jesus, man.
And, like, nobody gives a shit because there's just poor black people there. And they're like, okay, whatever. They're dead now. Who cares? Like, their houses are gone. And we're not going to fix it 15 years later or whatever it is.
I just.
But the thing is, like.
That's the thing. That's the point. Like, this idea of social Darwinism and ideas.
But the thing is, like, some people want to live in a place like that. You know?
I don't know.
Not the poor people. Man. But
I would rather live in a place where I have a good wage, and sure, my taxes are high, but I got universal healthcare, universal free college, a great welfare system. I mean,
lots of people.
And what? So my taxes will be slightly higher.
Lots of people don't want to pay any taxes.
But why?
Because they don't want people to take their money. Don't you understand that point of view? They just don't want people to take their money.
I mean, listen. Okay, fine. Listen, here's the thing. First of all, it's federal money. If you don't want a federal government, don't use the currency. How about that? Just don't use currency.
Is that a realistic argument?
If you're gonna be that hardcore, it is. If it's as realistic.
Have you heard of sovereign citizens?
Yeah. Be a sovereign citizen. Listen. Here's the thing. They say, I don't want to pay any of taxes because it's my money. I earned that money. The federal government printed that money, first of all. Okay? You're playing the game, the government that you're in. You're playing the game of the country. Okay? So that money has U.S. federal treasury on it or whatever.
Danny, the government only works because everybody in the country agrees to play by the rules of the government.
Exactly. So these libertarians and these...
But what I'm saying is that guy has as much power as anybody else. In the fact that he's participating. The fact that everybody is participating in the game.
Don't complain about the taxes.
If the entire police force and army and everybody just thought, like, why am I listening to these people? If they just said, like, why am I listening to the government? Then the government would have no power, right?
Exactly.
Because everybody in there is just people. So you can't just say you're using the government's money. Like, I have as much power with that money as the government does.
But exactly at that point, when that point reaches where it's like, why am I going to listen to the government? What's going to happen afterwards when you take over the government, when you destroy the government? What do you think's going to happen? Maybe something similar to Somalia? You know?
Yeah, Danny, but look, what I'm saying is, like, when you're saying the argument is like it's the government's money, no, it's your money. The government printed it, but you took it. Like, it's your money.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You took it. You decided to play the game. The game involves taxes.
But you have to play the game.
Stop being a bitch.
But part of the game is also arguing for less taxes.
But, like, okay, no, these people are arguing for no taxes.
That's their right to argue that.
Okay, but I spoke to this one guy, this libertarian, when I was in New York. He was a hardcore right-wing libertarian. Mm-hmm. And he asked me, he's like, so, okay, you make the argument about taxes and that stuff. Let me ask you something. At what point is taxes just slavery? What percentage point is taxes just slavery? 100%. When they take all your money,
when you take all your money, you work for nothing. Yes, but
that's slavery. That is slavery. So I don't know what 20%. What I think I'm paying 10% in my taxes.
Even though is that technically slavery?
I think that's okay.
Because you're still getting shit from your taxes, though. So like, what if you paid 100% taxes theoretically, but they gave you?
If you pay 100% taxes, why even have money?
No, but this is the thing. Like, what if they said, like, I'm just saying, playing by this guy's rule. It's like, okay, you're paying 100% taxes, you're in slavery. But like, what if those 100% taxes gave you a house? It gave you food. It gave you the ability to go get any entertainment you want. You can buy it. You can get whatever TV. You can go see movies. You can do whatever. But you just had to also work 8 hours a day at a job. But you could get anything
and do whatever you want
because it's paid for by the taxes.
I think that's slavery. That's pretty close.
Is it though?
I mean, do I have an option to quit my job?
You can get reassigned to a different job.
Yeah, that's communism. That's just communism.
No, but it's communism slavery?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. But about these libertarians, these hardcore libertarians and sovereign citizens, just live in the woods.
A lot of them
people,
do.
Like they a lot of them make the argument. It's like, hey, I didn't choose to be an American citizen. I didn't choose to be in your country. So I don't want to be. So I'm not an American citizen.
So leave then. Okay. What do you if you don't want to be an American citizen?
Go live in the woods. Don't use any roads. Don't use any American currency. Don't use any government assistance at all. Just live in the woods and see how long you can stay there.
A lot of them do.
That's really?
Yeah, sovereign citizens, like that's what they want to do.
Just live in the woods?
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
No, they do.
I think they just...
No, like the actual hardcore sovereign like the legit sovereign citizens, they live in the woods. They don't live in like a city.
I gotta watch the documentary about these people. But it's just...
Okay, guys, thanks for listening.
Luisi, don't stop. You don't just decide to stop.
It's an hour. Luisi. I'm done with this shit. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
What happened to Alex?
She left. She didn't care anymore.
All right. Okay. Well, this was a good conversation anyways. I think this was pretty interesting. It wasn't funny at all, but it was interesting.
I taught you
Andrew,
some philosophy.
If you're still listening, Andrew, get a good mic and come back on the show. How about? I mean, I want somebody who's an actual, like, has actual political opinions that I can debate. Luisi, every time I talk to Luisi about a political topic, he's just like, but what is that really? What is right? I mean, how are you going to have an argument like that? That's not a good way to have
a political person. I really don't care about politics.
Maybe we just stop talking about politics altogether and just talk about Kanye West and freaking Lou Reed and shit.
That's what I wanted to do.
All right. So, okay, guys. This has been another episode of the Friday Show. I'm sorry if you hated it. I didn't like it that much. But if you did like it, follow us on 3_Gorillas at Twitter. Follow us on 3 Gorillas Entertainment Facebook, 3 Gorillas Entertainment YouTube. 3 Gorillas Entertainment at Gmail. Write us, talk with us, ask us questions. Let's have it back and forth. So yeah, bye Stamps. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye Stamps. Bye.